Welcome, Abby. I am so glad you're here today. Could you please briefly introduce yourself, your family, and your homeschool?
Yeah, sure. So I'm excited to be here too. My name is Abby. I am a homeschool mom to 4 boys between the ages of 5 and 9. I have twin 7-year-olds in there. And my YouTube channel that is primary is Family Style Learning. And that is the style that we go with for our homeschool. We try to learn together as much as possible. Yeah.
That is great. My youngest son is 7, although he's about to turn 8. Actually, probably by the time this comes out, he will be 8. And it is such a fun age. And you have double the fun with those twins.
Oh, they're so much fun. Yeah.
Well, could you let me know what is your favorite part of homeschooling?
Yeah. So my favorite part of homeschooling is definitely that like co-learning part that we are. I think like most homeschool moms, when we get started, we're so nervous about, do I know enough? Am I going to be able to teach my kids? But what I've really found is that, well, I do know the basics for these young ages, but I'm learning so much, and I am learning at a higher level while they're learning at this core spot for their age. I am learning more. And so I continue to be educated high enough that next time we revisit this topic, I will be able to help them more and more. And we get to do so many activities as a family, and I'm not missing out when they go on a field trip and do something else. And I get to experience all of those highlight moments, like when reading suddenly makes sense, or when they come up with a story that they want to tell. And I get to be part of that, and I'm not missing out on those things. And that's something that my husband and I have both really valued and treasured in our homeschool. Also, like the part of adding so much about God into our curriculum, and not actually like adding it because he's not the elective, right? Like he's what we really want to be teaching our kids. And so everything else is kind of coming alongside of that. And we get to focus on our hearts and our priorities for our kids through homeschooling. And I just think that that's so beautiful.
I love that. I love that you say God is not an elective. I sometimes say, like, we don't just sprinkle some Bible verses in our curriculum or add it in as a separate subject. It is definitely foundational to the way we think about everything we're learning. Everything we're learning ought to drive us more and more to worship of God. That's why my channel and my website is Humility and Doxology. That's the real end of learning. Yeah.
I did steal that from like a meme or something that's not like core to me, but I loved it so much. And I think that a lot of us do hold on to that of like, that makes so much sense that God is not an elective.
Well, Abby, you and I are part of an exciting new venture that we're all going to be discussing about on this podcast episode, Made to Homeschool, this new online homeschool community. So tell me a little bit about what you're most looking forward to about Made to Homeschool.
The community of it, right? And that's really like how it got started too, was Brandon, the founder of it, and his wife Brigitte. They heard so many of us homeschool moms talking about wanting a safe community, a place to connect with others. Because I think a lot of us, the reason that we do YouTube and podcasts and things are because we want to be there for homeschoolers that don't have a local community and who need that extra encouragement. But the best we can do really is YouTube and podcast and social media on some level, but we don't get that interaction. We don't really get to know their story and their specific situation because we all come from such different situations. But here on Made to Homeschool, we're going to be able to actually answer those questions and do it live on our workshops or in meetups that we can offer. And there's so much potential there to really uplift and encourage homeschoolers. Personally, I'm going to be one of the coaches on Made to Homeschool. And that to me is my highlight, because I will be able to have so much one-on-one interaction and just encouraging homeschoolers as they're getting started and making sure that they have that firm foundation so that they don't burn out, so that they don't feel lost and confused, but that they can be going strong in the journey that they are taking for their family.
Yeah, just to have someone who can look you in the eyes, through the computer screen and say, you're not alone. We're here with you. Let's hold hands together and do this adventure, I think is so valuable. And I know it's going to be, I'm so excited every time I think about it.
I know it is so exciting. And like to see the hearts behind all of the creators that are getting in on this, right? Like they haven't been concerned with what they're getting out of it. They're so concerned about like, how can we make this the best? How can we serve others to the top of our ability? And nobody's talking about like what they get from it. And that's just like mind blowing to just see all of these moms who are giving so much time, because we're giving a lot of time to this project, and just their real genuine hearts behind it has been so beautiful.
Well, Abby, even though this is sort of a little bit of a different episode and we're just having a brief introduction to you, I do want to ask you the questions I always ask my podcast guests. And the first is just, what are you personally reading lately?
Well, thanks for asking. I love talking about books. In fact, you and I are going to be doing another thing later on about homeschooling books. But currently, I am finishing up. I'm on the last chapter of Mother Culture, which has been great. And then I am reading, I actually pulled it over here because I knew I would forget the name, Knights in Training by Heather Haupt, I think is how you say it. And I've been loving this book. We're doing a Middle Ages study right now with my kids, and it's really been good in teaching my kids how to be chivalrous and have a good upbringing in their manners and how they treat others.
I haven't read that book, but that name sounds so familiar. I feel like maybe I heard the author on a podcast episode a while back or something like that. So
Sure. So she has her own curriculum too, which I'll be doing a review of really soon. And it looks like the best curriculum in the world. I'm really excited about it.
I have to just mention here, I know this is totally a rabbit trail, but my youngest son has been a bit of a struggling reader and is just really persevering and working so hard. And I'm so proud of him. We were at a thrift store recently and he had brought his own little $1 bill in his pocket, and he found this Knights and Castles book in the picture book and bought it with his own money. I will tell you, I have not had to fight with him like I normally do. Every morning we practice a little bit of reading aloud to me. And this book has like 6-syllable words in it. Like, it's not an easy reader book at all, but he's so excited about reading it that he's more willing to work hard. And I just, that makes me super, super happy.
Yeah, I think little boys have that desire to be bold and courageous and to be necessary in their society and to help others. And so there's just something about this knight's idea that really clings to them, and they want to know more and go on those adventures. So it's been really good for my boys, and I can see how just finding that, but like you brought up there, like just seeing your kid light up with his reading and start taking on these extra things, right? And that's what I was talking about with the excitement of homeschooling. It is so exciting to see these things happen with our kids.
Abby, what is your best tip for helping the homeschool day run smoothly?
We have created rhythms for our family and made them habits of what we just do. And it just comes naturally, and everybody knows what's expected of them. And I will say, like, it didn't run smoothly when they were little, right? Things look different then, and they've had to change as we've gone. But those rhythms have just helped us so much. And that's creating a lifelong learning style in my kids too, which I'm really excited about. But creating those habits and rhythms is a key thing.
Habits and rhythms. I love that. Such a great tip. Abby, where can people find you all around the internet?
Sure. So I have 2 YouTube channels. I have Family Style Learning, which I post on very regularly. And then I also have Bear Hill Adventures. It's our school name, and it talks about how to teach your kids about the world from home. And so I upload book resources and things there. And then I'm also on Instagram with Family Style Learning as well. And you can find me as a coach on Made to Homeschool.
Thanks for being here, Abby. And I look forward to seeing you more in Made to Homeschool.
Absolutely. Thank you, Amy.